somehow I didn't die. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Panda Mime. Today we're going to be swapping out Panda's rear axle for an Abarth 500 axle. What's nice with this axle is that I actually got the rear shocks, which are Koni's, and also the rear calipers. I'm going to use the ones that I have on the car because they're red and they're already pretty fresh. So of course we're going to be starting off with the wheels. We're going to take the wheels off. We're going to disconnect the fluids and the cable from the calipers, removing the calipers, the brake discs, and then the suspension. And finally, we're going to be left with the hard lines on the brakes. Nope, actually they're not necessary to remove because we only have soft lines. So once all of those kind of components are removed, we have a few bolts, I think 6 bolts in total, that need to come off and somehow to drop this down nice and neat. It's all very straightforward and easy to do, especially on these cars. That's the beauty of these cars. They're simple to work on. So once you have the handbrake cable released, you will pull on this little nipple. You just pull on it down. Now, it might be a little bit finicky still and tight, but just pulling it a little bit will release the handbrake. And that's the top removed. Now that I've removed some of the components here, such as the shock absorber, the handbrake cable, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the handbrake cable from the axle and the brake line, so that way it's cleared away so I can drop the axle from this side. And then we'll be able to undo the 6 bolts that are holding the axle in place. I hope that's it anyway. Now this side is going to be exactly the same thing. We're going to release our handbrake cable, we're going to undo the brake line at the top here. We're gonna move the handbrake out of the way, take it out of all these little hanger areas, and then undo the 3 bolts down here, and that should be it. So there's actually not a whole lot to it to remove the rear axle. I thought I was going to finish it up. You should be able to see underneath there, roughly around here, the 3 bolts. Look how crusty and rusty that is. There's literally nothing else holding the brake line in place. Oh, those bolts are horrible. Replacing all of that, these brake lines will potentially snap. There she goes. that's it. That's the axle out. Just need to take it out from underneath the car. Oh, I'm very excited about this. Alright, so I wanted to take out the axles here and give you a little comparison between the two. So, of course, this one is way more fresh than the old one. The Abarth 500 axle has a anti-roll bar. I don't know if it's for extra strength or it actually flexes and gives it more of a stiffer performance. Not 100% sure. I've measured it up from the caliper face to the other caliper. So 147.5 centimeters. And this one is 143.5 centimeters going across all the way from caliper to caliper. The difference is about 4 centimeters. I am using these spacers. I could have gone with another Fiat Panda rear axle, but I wanted the Abarth one for the fact that it's fresh and it's wider. So because of the fact it's 40 mils wider, or 20 and 20 on either end, I won't need the spacers on the rear. Those are the two main reasons why I got this Abarth rear axle versus getting another Fiat Panda one. I also need to swap out everything that's on from the old axle. Let's get to it. So I swapped out the calipers. They took a lot of persuading to get into place. I've added my new Goodrich brake lines, which are TOV approved. I've got my Bilsteins here, TOV approved. My Abarth axle. So this nice fresh looking thing is going in. So I put it on like a little cart here, and I'm gonna wheel it over towards the back of the car and start fitting it in. And that's it, our axle is in place. I do have to take the bolts off for the shocks again though, the springs. Right, so that's pretty much it. How you swap over an Abarth 500 axle onto a Panda. All that's left is to put on the wheels. I need to finish off the handbrake cable, the brake lines, and bleed the brakes. And that's it. That'll be everything. And then I'll give it a test drive. So I'm very pleased with that. The brake lines are in place. Nothing is in the way, nothing's knocking. Perfect.